India won't become a developed country without the agriculture sector doing far better, and we'll have to take the consequences of climate change into effect because it affects that part of our economy more than perhaps the richer parts. Chandrajit, another point that the Prime Minister spoke about today, Jan Anusandhan, innovation, and that's the story that is really driving much of the change in the financial sector, for example, that Sanjeev Bajaj alluded to. What do you think about that particular term that was emphasized by the Prime Minister today with regard to innovation?
You know, this is a very, very, very critical aspect of success of many of the visions that we are setting for ourselves, which the Honorable Prime Minister set for ourselves, for a developed nation. And innovation, technology, R&D, these are very key factors that really need to become a part of our culture, DNA in the Indian industry and beyond. And in fact, you know, the way I see it, it's going to be very, very crucial for India to be at the forefront of technology and innovation if we are going to achieve the high economic growth that we are talking about. And our objective would really be to increase R&D spending of 2% of GDP, with a higher proportion really coming from the industry from the current what we have about 0.7%. So how do we promote PPPs, private sector partnership in R&D? The beginning has been made, as you know, in the defense sector. In the last budget, we had 25% of the government's defense R&D budget being opened for the private sector. So, we need a lot more really happening. The Indian design policy, so to say. Also, we need to have a phenomenal focus on that strategic design. So these are what's going to put India on the high table, because we cannot be a technologically not advanced nation if we are going to be a developed nation by you know, Sanjeev added to the PLI, ELI. You know, I would really like to hear add a TLI, a technology incentives. Sure, I mean, I see the government getting a huge opportunity to launch technology and innovation programs in a sort of a mission mode on one, addressing the global challenges like climate change, which was talked about, public health, urbanization, and two long-term technology areas such as artificial intelligence, genomics, robotics, nanotechnology, blockchain, etc. So all of this would be requiring you know, coordination and partnership, as I was talking about, and to enable, you know, I think 4 elements of national research quad of industry, academia, R&D and R&D lab startups. They must work in tandem with a very strong and appropriate sort of a government mechanism. And lastly, given the high geopolitical or rather geopoliticized nature of technology, it is important to very much integrate technology partnerships within our overall diplomacy agenda to facilitate the G2G technology collaborations. So I feel innovations, technology, R&D is going to be a very key defining factor of India to be a developed nation by 2047.
Rajan, as the chairman of the CII Council on India at 75, let's assume 25 years later somebody else will, on behalf of CII, will be looking at India at 100. What is industry's role in achieving this? Because while we heard the term employment-linked incentive and technology-led incentive, I haven't heard these before from industry at least. What is industry's role in getting this growth going and make it possible?
You know, I think firstly, again, a very happy Independence Day to you and to all the viewers. You know, we've come a long way as a country in 75 years of independence, but a deep-rooted culture of thousands of years. So I think we are celebrating all of that today. And, you know, as you asked me to look forward into the next 25 years, Siddharth, you know, I think the role of industry is going to be absolutely key. And if you look at the past 15 years, you know, CII industry led a platform that brought multiple stakeholders together to really discuss, talk about India and its future. Not only capture the aspirations, but also help draft a roadmap that will make that happen. But you know, no country can progress to becoming a Viksit Bharat if we do not truly have economic strength. So, you know, building great economic strength and maximizing our potential there, you know, technological vitality, not only into our industries to be able to be globally competitive, but also being able to, percolate that into different aspects of society so that society at large can become more efficient. And of course, our Prime Minister talked about it. How do we build a Bharat, on the strong principles of moral leadership? How do we create a corrupt-free India? And what's the role that industry and everyone can play to make all of that happen? So I think, in our accelerated change process from here over the next 25 years, I think besides being a convening platform for multiple stakeholders in the country, I think building trust with government, building trust with society, industry will play a key role. And two sectors of society I think will drive a large part of this. One is definitely our Yuva Shakti, the youth as we talk about. And they have become, you've seen business, unicorns, in sports, in every area, Prime Minister talked about it. And the Nari Shakti, I think bringing more women into the workforce, seeing how women can contribute both through industry and otherwise in helping shape that India, I think, are very important, areas that can happen. And the areas, of course, agri-tech, agriculture, manufacturing, services, sustainability, digital platforms, education, infrastructure, healthcare, governance. There's every role for industry to come and play, both sectorally and, of course, across many of these areas